NBC making the Olympics about politics, or worse, is NBC taking sides? Shouldn't Bob Costas, as David just said, just stick to sports? Joining us, our political panel, The Hill's A.B. Stoddard, Washington Examiner chief political correspondent Byron York, and USA's Today Kirsten Powers. Kirsten, first to you. NBC making those statements, I mean, in many ways saying profoundly nice things about President Putin. Are any remotely true?
I mean, maybe some of it's remotely true, but the overarching presentation is not true. I think the way they're trying to portray him as sort of this great statesman. And one of the things that really caught my attention was his reference to saying that anti-gay or gay groups have complained about some of the things that he's done, as if there's some debate to be had about the fact that he is virulently anti-gay and is doing, has passed a law where you can arrest people for being gay. This is not something that's subject to debate. Like, on the one hand, Putin says this, and on the other hand, gay rights groups say that.
Byron, it almost seemed, I mean, when I heard that, I was stunned. I couldn't figure out if Bob Costas was just trying to curry favor so that he didn't get thrown out like David and NBC didn't get thrown out, or if he was just, I know he's gone into politics before when we thought we were hearing sports, but the things that he said that Putin's a statesman when, he went around President Obama's back with that article or the letter in the New York Times.
Yeah, it's hard to figure why he seemed so credulous, because basically Putin was siding with the bad guys in both of those situations. In Syria and in the Iranian nuclear thing. But the bigger problem is a problem that NBC has to deal with, which is that you have these Olympics in a repressive, autocratic society, and how much do you show of that? I mean, that had a problem with China 6 years ago.
You could skip it, for starters. You don't praise the guy. You could just skip it and say, here we are in Russia. You don't have to say, with this great statesman.
Well, but politics always comes into Olympics. You just don't have an entire Olympics phenomenon without some politics in it. So the question is NBC going to be open about the repression, political problems in Russia? I mean, we've heard a lot about the threat of terrorism, but are they going to be open about all of it, or are they just going to close their eyes?
But A.B., it isn't, in my view, it isn't a question of NBC being open about it. I mean, that may have its consequences. I've been in North Korea, in which we've had minders standing next to us, and we note that the minders are standing next to us when we broadcast. But it's not even a question so much of being open. I mean, they actually seem to be, cozying up to Putin and saying things that, he's a great peacemaker. He's bringing Iran to the table. Meanwhile, he's helping in Syria, but Iran is all over Syria.
Really, it was incredible to read, but to actually see it with the dramatic music. It is a Putin commercial. I mean, it's beyond flattering. And he would not have written it any better himself. If we read the dispatches from Russia, reporters are having their hotel room doors opened in the middle of the night. There's pictures of Putin everywhere, but you're often, as we've noted, drinking water that's the color of dark beer. And maybe Bob Costas has had a rough time, but it's one thing to be there and to be straddling the business relationship NBC is trying to manage, but it's another to be so kind. He is, David was talking about the secrets we have to uncover. Byron's right. Everybody knows. He is fiercely defending our greatest enemies. He's coddling dictators and murderers. He's selling arms to Syria in Assad's battle, killing his people, and not coming up with the weapons that he's supposed to clean up from the deal that Vladimir Putin arranged that is turning out to be much better for Syria than us. This is a joke.
I guess so that my objection with NBC is that you don't. I mean, they're getting in bed with him by virtue with Putin, what he's saying. The NBC could have said, "Look at this beautiful weather we're having here in Sochi, and the athletes are working so hard." You don't have to say that this guy who's coddling our enemies and who has been just terrible in many ways. You don't get in bed with him, and that's what NBC did.
Well, it's not NBC. Right now, it's Bob Costas.
He works for NBC.
And again, I don't know how much of that brown water he had the night before, but something's wrong. He has a terrible eye infection. Maybe it's just gotten to him.
Anyway, might be the eye infection indeed. Stay with us, panel.